Hi, I'm Kirk Anderson and welcome back to the shop. This week's video is about measurements, or when to use a measuring tool and when you don't have to. First, let's talk about the different types of measuring devices. As you all know, there are many different types. We'll start out with what everybody knows, the tape measure. Now, a tape measure averages between about 6 feet to about 25 feet. Next is the combination square and a regular ruler. Kind of self-explanatory. On a combination square, you can pull the ruler off, so it's just a regular ruler, or you can just get a regular ruler. Then there's the folding ruler. Now this one really brings me back to my childhood, as my father was an avid woodworker, and this was the ruler that he always had. And the standard folding ruler is 6 feet. Another measuring device is the caliper. Now this is a digital caliper. You can get standard non-digital ones. And they're usually for specialized measurements and really getting down to the nitty-gritty. And another device that can be used for measurements is the carpenter's square. Now, not usually used as a measuring device, but of course it has measuring marks on it. In certain projects, there's no reason to measure everything out every time, especially when you're going to have measurements that are going to be the exact same. In this case, you can make a spacer block. Now, in some of my previous videos, I've used spacer blocks quite often. And here are a few instances of me using spacer blocks. Here, I'm using a spacer block to position the next piece. Now here, I'm using a spacer block to determine where the piece will set flush. Now I did measure this out before I put the glue on the piece to put it in. But the spacer block makes it easier to secure the piece in. I can't think of any time that I've put drawer slides in where I didn't use spacer blocks. Now when it comes to making cuts on the table saw or drilling holes on the drill press, especially when you're having multiple pieces that are going to be the same, or you need holes in the same position all the time, it's really good to put stop blocks in. If the equipment you're using doesn't have it taped out already, you're going to have to measure out where you want the stop block to be put. But once you do that, you can make repeatable cuts and it will be all at the same dimension. Now, in most of these previous examples, at one time or another, you still need to make a measurement. But there are times when you don't need to pull out the tape measure at all. Now, let's say you're making a face frame for a cabinet. Well, you might have measured out and you cut the stiles. But now it's time to cut the rails. Well, you don't even have to measure. You can just lay the rails down and then mark them where they need to be cut. No tape measure or ruler involved whatsoever. And there are plenty of other examples that you could probably come up with where either A, you can use a stop block of some sort, or you don't even have to pull out the tape measure. Well, that concludes this video, and I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, please give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, all you woodworkers out there, just get out there and cut some wood.